Hi guys, Squirrel here. In this video I'm talking to Maarten from the ProMods team. Now, Maarten is one of the lead developers over at the ProMods team, and in this video I just sat down with him and informally interviewed him, asked him questions about how the team is made up, what sort of things they're working on, and the kind of things they're going to be working on in the future. And inevitably I asked him about what their plans are with American Truck Simulator. I hope you find this video interesting and useful. There are some links in the video description which are discussed during the video, and please do leave your comments or questions for Maarten in the video, and don't forget, please leave me a like if you do enjoy it. Maarten, thanks for joining me. Do you want to just sort of run down who you are and what you represent?
Yes, I'm Maarten, and I am about 23 years old, and I am a civil engineering student specializing in transport planning, and I am the lead developer of ProMods.
Awesome. You know what? I didn't know that you were a civil engineering student.
Yeah, I'm doing my master's degree, and I hope to graduate in November.
Fantastic. Best of luck with that. So, can you tell us, like, obviously ProMods is a team of people. I have no idea how many there are of you guys, or how you're structured, or, you know, where you all are. You're in Europe, or you're around the world. Do you want to just sort of give us all an overview of the ProMods team?
Well, if we count in the moderators, I think we are almost 25 men strong, but I think like there are like 10 moderators. I don't have the numbers right here, but we have quite some people from Europe, and surprisingly most of them are around the Netherlands and Belgium. But we do have some developers from the Czech Republic, Sweden, Denmark, Romania, and even one in Australia.
Wow. That must be fun with time zone differences. So I mean, there's 25 of you, you're the lead developer, so, I mean, how are you guys structured? What kind of roles do you take? Because obviously you mentioned there's moderators and you're the lead developer. What other kind of roles are there, and how do they work together?
Well, first of all, we have our maintenance administrator, Skull, and he owns the server. He makes sure everyone gets the right and permission rights. Also, who gets which rank on the forums, and then I come in as a lead developer, and Nico also is some kind of lead developer, but because he was early involved in the process, he is also the founder. So, and it means that we have more or less the task to coordinate the whole project. So we have the responsibility to keep the overview of the entire project. Then there are several developers who work in several areas. Some of them are designated to them, but most of them just work in the area they would like to work, so to keep them motivated. I could talk later about in detail who works where, but that's another part. So, below that structures are the moderators. The moderators are not working on the mod itself, but are working on running the website itself, and to sometimes also handle the promotion or the PR stuff to our community. And then finally we have our beta testers, who are trying to test our mod just before the release. So try to work out as many bugs as possible, because you may see bugs now in the mod, but were a lot more in the testing phase that were a lot worse than this. So this is basically how the team is set up.
Yeah, never underestimate testing, because, like you say, developers, in my experience, because I used to be a developer, developers are the worst testers imaginable. So you actually need very good testers if you want to have a quality product.
And you always have the better idiot rule. If you make something idiot-proof, a better idiot comes along to disprove your idiot-proofness.
Ain't that the truth? So everybody on the team, are they all just doing this completely as a hobby? They've all got, you know, studying or full-time jobs or something, and they just do it as a hobby? Or is there anybody actually just doing this full-time?
No, nobody's doing this full-time. This will always remain a hobby. Well, school maybe have a part-time relationship with SCS, but I think he also has another job. So nobody's doing this full time. This is completely a hobby project, but it tries to get more and more professionally organized with the more members we gain.
So, I mean, just what makes you guys, what motivates you guys to do this? I mean, you mentioned that different people are motivated by different parts of Europe, I think. So maybe if you're from Holland, you might be interested in doing Holland, or if you happen to like Denmark as a country, you might say, "Oh, I'll take on Denmark." Is that kind of how it works? Is that how people decide who does what?
And basically, it is something like that. But sometimes there are also some specializations within the team. So there are some people that are. There's one guy that really knows well how to place traffic signs, so everything is looking correct. So some people are really good at landscaping things, so you can get the best looking quality landscape, and others are really good in building custom junctions, custom interchanges. So everyone does have their share in the team, but people do tend to work at focus on certain areas. And mainly it's because or people really like the landscape, or people really like the country.
Fair enough. I mean, do you? What about assets and stuff? Because when I went to see SCS, they have like a dedicated asset team, and then they have a map team. What do you guys do for creating assets? Do you have some people who are specialised in creating assets, or do you just kind of pitch in and do whatever's needed?
Well, we don't have a specialized asset team. There are not many modelers in our team, and we do have a hard time finding some. Most of the modeling is my work or Nico's work, and I think there are some people that Kutjek knows. I think that's the guy who's working on France. Do know a bit about modeling, but overall, there are not many modelers on our team, and that does put quite a load on the shoulders of the people who can model. And lately I have noticed this because I had to create a lot of the assets for ProMods lately, and it tends to get demotivating when you see a really large scale, a really large amount of assets the team really needs. And so I try to switch between making assets and building the map.
Right, yeah, so it's like a necessary evil. So you just do some of it and then go back to making maps and do a bit more and so on.
Basically, yes.
So, I mean, that's a good overview of the team. But I mean, in terms of, what you guys do is you put together the ProMods map. Now, you managed to get over into Scandinavia before SCS did. But when SCS released the Scandinavia DLC, how difficult was it for you guys to adjust what you'd done so that it would work with the Scandinavia DLC?
Removing the sectors was quite easy, and that was done within like 2 days. But the hard part is to update the specs again to what you really would like to see. For instance, there are quite some points on the map that we are trying to improve right now because we don't agree on the approach SCS has taken. For instance, Aarhus. That city is completely missing from the DLC map file. It's the second largest city of Denmark. That was quite a notable city to miss. So one of all the developers, Raysoft, developed Aarhus lately, and and it actually looks quite good. But from our perspective, that one should have been in the original DLC. But that is actually the hardest part that will take months to complete.
Right.
But the easy part was just to remove our sectors and just connect the part where the maps overlap.
Right. Yeah. So did you have to throw away like some stuff that you'd done in order to just, if you'd done the same city as what SCS had done, did you have to like remove your city effectively and let theirs win? Is that how it works?
Well, that was basically quite a lot of those cities that are existing, but that was also because they were getting old, and if you look quality-wise, these cities are not that great from the first place in what we had. So SES implementation was, in most cases, better. There were some cities that were exceptions. For instance, Stockholm. Stockholm does look good in the DLC, but not really that great because there are some design problems with it, especially from a traffic engineer point of view and for someone who has actually been there. One of the roads, the so-called Essingelede, that's the western ring of the Stockholm, has only 2x2 lanes in the DLC, and that's totally not what you see in real life. In real life, it's 4x4 lanes. It's 2x4 lanes, so 4 lanes in each direction, and it's always completely packed. and that's what we tried to represent. So it was, and I tried to squeeze that in quite a bit, and it was kind of a bit hard because I needed some redesign there. But with the merge with our old content and new content in some locations, for instance Stockholm, it's really a mix and match. And we use some of the DLC area, we use some of our old stuff, but we also built something new with it. So in fact you have not the same city again. So it's not that we have our old city overruling the new city overruling the old city. No, it's a complete merge. It's also completely rebuilt and a graphical update.
Right. So when I think what you're saying is now is when we install ProMods, because it kind of merges in with what SES has done, and really what we're getting is the best of both worlds in a way.
Basically, yes. That's what we always planned. But the one thing that has been shifted is which base map would we use. I think in the first place we thought we may use ProMods as a base map, but after seeing what quality the DLC has brought, well, we are convinced to use the DLC map as a base and try to merge some ProMods stuff back in, or just start over again with some stuff with the more gained knowledge we got from our previous projects, especially the Autobahn rebuilding project, and apply this to the new area.
So ProMods as it stands right now is on, was it 1.95, its current version?
Yeah, 1.95.
Okay, so that requires you to have the Scandinavia DLC, yeah?
Correct.
So is it always going to be that way going forward?
Yes, and that's because the DLC doesn't only come with a whole new map area, but it also comes with a load of assets, a load of models, and other quite useful stuff. So that's a lot, and we are already implementing some of those things on the map, especially lots of house models.
Right, so when SCS's Scandinavia DLC dropped, it actually brought a whole lot of assets, and you can now use those assets in furthering the ProMods map. As you go north, up Norway or whatever, you can start reusing some of the models from that.
Yes, but there's also the thing that if you want to edit a map area, you do need to have the DLC installed, because otherwise you have some really weird loose areas, and it's getting really freaky, or maybe even causing crashes when you haven't got the DLC installed. And the other reason is it will be a hell to maintain two versions, one with and one without DLC, because there are some points that may look good from the player's perspective, but from the developer's perspective, it's a hell to maintain that because we already have a trouble with maintaining just one version.
Yeah, I mean, if you use just one asset from Scandinavia DLC in order to have a second version of the map that didn't work with Scandinavia, you're going to have to put something else there and maintain two versions. That would be horrible.
Yeah, that would be extremely horrible.
I guess though there are some people that can't understand why it's now requires Scandinavia DLC. Why do we have to go and buy it? But I mean, you've explained why. Obviously, if it comes with loads and loads of assets, and you're merging with it and all the rest of it, it's a one-way trip, isn't it? You basically have to have the Scandinavia DLC now going forward.
Yeah, and it was also not just a thing that we just decided on just overnight, but for months in advance of the DLC, we asked our community, are you willing to buy the DLC? And over 90% said yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that vote on the website. I thought that was quite interesting. So what are you guys actually working on currently? What's the next sort of thing that's going to come out in the ProMod world?
Well, there are quite some things. First of all, with the obvious upgrade of Scandinavia. This is already in progress, but there are quite some interchanges that are going to be replaced by the standard prefab junctions that are going to be replaced by custom interchanges. I've already implemented them in Stockholm, Linköping, Jönköping, and Växjö. And we already have built some new towns like Aarhus, and I have completed Kristianstad thing like a week ago. Okay, the second thing is that we are looking at a corridor from Estonia to Poland through Latvia and Lithuania. We're trying to focus on the E67 corridor, passing through to Riga and Kaunas, and one place name with a P, which I can't remember what it actually was. It was a pretty complex name, but that's a corridor we set a really high priority on, to just focus on the land link between Estonia and Poland. But if there's time left before the release, we may add some extra cities around that. Third project is the Autobahn rebuilding project phase 2. We have multiple people working on that, and we have some work around the Berlin region. So Berlin is basically going to be rebuilt with a whole new ring road, with all custom interchanges, and also some roads leading towards it, like the Autobahn 24 and Autobahn 19, and the whole Bundesautobahn 2 is now upgraded to our ARP standards. And we have in the south around München, we have a complete rebuild. We have Frankfurt is completely rebuilt. We have added new city Ulm, and we added also a lot of new motorways, like the southern part of the Autobahn 7 and the Bundesautobahn 3 between Köln and Frankfurt. Then we have France. Toulouse is basically finished, and the corridor to Perpignan and Barcelona is having a priority now, and Barcelona is also under construction by our Australian developer, and Andorra is also going to be there.
So are you gradually heading down into Spain then?
Well, yeah, that was also one of our priorities, because that is one area people have asked a lot, but we haven't started construction yet. But we are already constructing now, and but Barcelona is pretty much finished, or is getting really to the finishing stages. And there are now roads being built going to the north to link up with France. We haven't built around Bilbao yet, at the other side of Spain, where it connects with France. And we also had to put some projects in our project freezer, because, as you may have already heard, we already have a lot of projects running, and one of the projects we had to put in the project freezer for now is the Benelux rebuilding project, which it has some great plans, but we don't have the manpower to execute it right now. So we have Zwolle finished, but for the rest we made some temporary links to close off that area for now and pick it up again when we have more manpower.
You mentioned you linking Estonia down to Poland, I think. I take it you've seen the Poland rebuilding map. Is there any plans to sort of, I mean, obviously ProMods works with it, Is there any plan to do anything with Poland like what they did?
Actually, we have yesterday we just finished with integrating Poland rebuilding into ProMods map.
Oh wow! So that's now officially part of ProMod.
Yes, it's now officially part of ProMods since. The problem was before that Poland rebuilding required a DLC for the Going East DLC, but the rest of ProMods did not. So if we would integrate Poland rebuilding at that point, the whole map would automatically need a DLC.
Right.
But since we now set the DLC as a prerequisite, this is not a problem anymore. And we have also professionalized our whole file sharing system. We used to use Dropbox for it, but we already found that it had quite some space issues for quite some members. Yeah, but now we have our own SVN server, and that works a lot better than what ever worked on the Dropbox.
That's really good news. So what about the guy who actually built, I take it's one guy who built Poland Rebuilding. Has he joined the team along with the map?
Actually, it's not one guy. It's actually 3 guys, but we only have one guy assigned because that's the main contact. That's Radol, and I think he may not have the status on the forum yet as a developer, but he is now officially a developer of the yeah.
So he's actually joined the team then?
Practically, yes.
Right. Because I was going to say, otherwise he would have just handed it over and gone off doing something else, but hopefully he's going to stay on the team and carry on his good work, because he has done a good job.
Yeah, and I think with the full integration, we are better able to coordinate between what was previously Poland Rebuilding, but now part of the ProMods map, and the rest of the ProMods map.
So, I mean, obviously your team's still growing, but it's quite a big team anyway by the sound of it, but are you looking to recruit more people? Are you trying to grow the team even further? I mean, I'm just wondering what people can do to help you.
Well, we are always looking for new members. We're also always looking for new talent. If people really want to join our team, just try to read some tutorials and try to start some stuff out in the editor, in the map editor. Just see how it works and how it works, and just try something. Just show it what you can do. It's basically our new members are just handpicked by selection based on what they have shown to us what they can do. And if you are doing something really good, then you have a chance that we pick you for joining our team.
So is there is there a forum post on your forum where people can just go and it'll say, if you're interested in joining our team, then, here's like for complete newbies who just want to give it a go, it'll be like, here's what you need to do. But if you've already done some stuff, is there a forum post where they can just reply to and say, this is what I've done?
Well, there is a ProMods Academy section that's meant for this.
An Academy section? That sounds exciting.
It is a little bit quiet, but maybe with this interview it might get spiced up. But yeah, it's free to you are free to join. You are free to show your stuff, and if you are good enough, we might try to hire you. And not only for mapping, we also desperately need modelers, and other asset makers.
Okay, well, I'll leave a link to the Academy and stuff in the video description, so when people are listening to this, they can go into the description and click that link.
Okay, great.
So, what else can people do to help you? Like, I mean, obviously, not everybody's a map author, not everybody's a mod author, but they just like what ProMods team are doing. How can they support what you're doing?
Well, there's always our donation service, which is mostly used to keep up our server and to get the licenses for the programs we make our models with. The Z modeler is not cheap.
No, I know that stuff. It's not cheap to keep that kind of kit going. So when is the next kind of release coming? I mean, no specifics, but I mean, when do you think you're going to put up a new release? Is it this summer?
I think it's not this summer. We honestly don't know when the next release is, but it will probably take months.
Fair enough. One of the questions I've often wondered myself, and I think a lot of people do, and honestly, they ask me this all the time, is does ProMods work with TSM? And the answer is no. I assume there are very good reasons why ProMods doesn't work with TSM, but could you elaborate on that?
Well, there are multiple reasons for that. Let me first I will tackle the technical reason why it just doesn't work. ProMods and TSM, especially in the latest version, have a lot of overlap. So you have, for instance, France has quite a large overlap. Italy has a small overlap. Slovenia is in both mods. Both have tried to rebuild Germany, and TSM also did some stuff in Denmark. But that's, well, I think in the latest version it was replaced by the DLC. But as you can see, there's already a lot of overlap, and the game just can't. It's not just like, whoa, we just meshing this and that together and it will work. No, it doesn't work that way. If it would work, if you just would be able to load it, and I doubt it will, because it would also have some conflicting stuff with definitions and other technical details. But if you would be able to load it, you would have a lot of broken roads, where one map ends and the other begins, and the other just actually continues. The game will always load the one which loads last, and in some areas we are have further extensions, and at other areas they have further extensions. And then there is also the part where the maps overlap. Which one would we actually pick? You can't pick both versions of France at the same time, unless you are having some kind of weird quantum state ETS2 version. But no, that doesn't work. The second thing why TSM and ProMods don't work together is the whole different approach on how we are building our map mod. And TSM used to go a lot for quantity, building them up quickly as possible, get a lot of roads, get a lot of areas. While we tend to hold our horse a bit, and we try to work on something that's really good. We try to work on things like that you can recognize stuff, that you actually feel that you are there, that you have some unique environments that you can recognize in which country you are, which city you are, instead of driving on a lot of roads or landscape that isn't really that great when you look at the details of it.
I would agree with that. Certainly in the early days of TSM, they were very, very expansive, and they would just, as you say, build things out very quickly, but not necessarily focus on the quality.
There is one thing. At one point, and this is really far back, I was tend to join TSM, but this was in the 1.0 days when ProMods was completely not in the picture yet. But I had registered on the German forums, tried to find some help about modding this game and stuff, but I didn't get any significant help on essential points. So I actually quit modding for quite some time, and went back to SimCity 4, my other game that I was really invested in. Not nowadays anymore, because ETS2 just eats up too much time for that.
Yeah,
but
you should be modding City Skylines now.
Oh yeah, City Skylines. I know the game.
So, okay, so basically ProMods, it sounds like there's just no way it's ever going to work with TSM anyway, because more or less you have a different philosophy, and a lot of sectors just trample all over each other, which is fair enough. I hope people now understand, why that's not even possible.
We do have an agreement that TSM says TSM and ProMods says ProMods. We will not steal our own stuff. We just have an agreement. We just keep to our own stuff. We are respecting each other's differences in the point of opinion.
Yeah, mutual respect. Good thing. So, have you any plans to go? Are you heading down towards Africa, do you think, or are you not going to go that far? Are you going to, branch down to Spain and Italy and then not cross over to Africa, do you think?
I think we are not crossing over to Africa, but I think if we're going to expand, we will try to get the Balkans complete, or maybe Eastern Europe,
Right.
and of course Italy, Greece, maybe a small bit of the European part of Turkey. But we also want to head further north, so northern Finland, northern Norway, northern Sweden.
What about Ireland?
Ireland, yeah, that's a bit of a difficult one because we have inside information that SCS was working on it, and therefore we have stopped working on it because, as we know already with Scandinavia, if it could be that our work would be lost there. At some stage we were building on it, but it was always a bit dormant. And I think if we want to do something in that area, we actually rather want to rebuild the UK, because UK is one of the worst map parts, and also one of the oldest map parts.
Yeah, it is.
So we really want to crank up the quality there, just as we do now in Germany.
Yeah, you got to put Chelmsford in if you do it, you know.
Chelmsford.
Where I live, it's a city. It's actually a city, Chelmsford. So you've got to put it in if you're going to do UK.
I think one of our moderators is experimenting with the map editor and tries to build Chelmsford. So
well, I can send you photographs of any local sites you might want to put in there. Did you know that Chelmsford is the birth of radio? Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, that's where radio was first done, by Marconi.
Ah.
That's what we're famous for.
I passed Chelmsford last time when I went to the UK.
I think Nico or somebody else put when you're on the M25, you put a sign towards Chelmsford, but it doesn't actually have Chelmsford in it.
No, we have a lot of cities that are signed but that are not in there. Especially the M25 we have, but also in Germany we have a lot of those. And in other parts we have used a new sign system SCS has provided. That thing is really nice because you can type in all the destinations you want. But SCS has used it, but not to its full potential as we did in Germany. In Germany, we have a really precise looking signage, really lifelike. So we have just named all the interchanges, we have just numbered them all, and we have added some cities that are not in game, but the names are recognizable for people who drive there.
Right.
So that kind of details. That's the kind of details that our fans are loving.
So, I mean, American Truck Simulator is obviously under development. Nobody really knows when it's going to come out. But do you think ProMods as a team, when it's released, because obviously, largely speaking, it's going to be the same engine as Eurotruck, so mod authoring, I would have thought, is very, very similar on American Truck Simulator as Eurotruck Simulator. So in theory, you guys can carry your skills over and build things on American Truck Simulator. Is that something, do you think, that you guys would be looking to do, or are you going to stay focused on Eurotruck?
It's not really quite that we are going to ATS, but we can provide a platform for ATS, because I think not only does the game attract maybe new players, but maybe also new potential modders. And there's one thing we can offer to those when they want to join the team, and that's our knowledge of the game engine. Because, as you mentioned, the game engine is the same. So methods that work for Euro Truck Simulator would also work for American Truck Simulator mostly. So we actually can provide the knowledge to new modders how to work with it, and we try to maybe look for people from America that have the local knowledge for, so they can get the details right, and that they can get the American feel of the map right. And well, I think it may be a new branch of ProMods, so we actually end up with 2 or 3 branches. One that will keep on focused on Europe, that's mainly our current team, but maybe a new team that will focus themselves on America, and maybe a bridging team for assets and just general coordination. So
ProMods NA division. So I mean, there must be, I would have thought, a lot of people in North America who would be interested in modding American Truck Simulator. So what, because you guys have obviously got a lot of experience, and like you say, you've got a good team that can teach people the intricacies of the engine. Now would be a good time for them, really, wouldn't it, to sort of start playing around with with European Truck Simulator and learning how to mod the engine, so that when American Truck does come out, they're already part of the ProMods team. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of backing, and then they can just start churning out stuff. Because I imagine when American Truck Simulator comes out, I imagine there'll be quite a race to build all of the states of America, not to mention, Alaska and Mexico and all that kind of thing. So if they've already skilled themselves up by then they can instantly start to deliver really good mods.
Yeah, I think it's already good to start with modding the Earth Truck Simulator now, because both engines are basically the same. It's even at some point that some technology from American Truck Simulator are ported over to Earth Truck Simulator. So if you really want to get experience modding America's Truck Simulator before it comes out, go try modding Earth Truck Simulator 2 now, and so when American Truck Simulator comes out, you already have the basic knowledge how to mod this game.
Yeah, indeed, totally. Is there anything else that that you want to talk about the ProMods team? Have you got any announcements that you want to make, or?
Well, there is one announcement we want to make. Last week, RustMap 1.5 came out, and there was one problem with RustMap in the previous versions, and that was that the scale was not correct. It did not fit on with the rest of the map.
I saw that.
But in 1.5, they have actually changed the scale, so it actually now matches up with the rest of the map, and it offers quite some opportunities to link up our map with RustMap, and there's also work going on that. There are preparations already for building a road link from Tartu to Pskov. So, but we do have to coordinate this a bit with the RustMap author. But I'm not going to say that the two will be completely linked together like Poland rebuilding did. But I think we will build better compatibility between the two. So we have more land links, like instead of only near Brest in Belarus. So we may have a link from Helsinki to St. Petersburg. We maybe have one from Tallinn. We may have a link we are building a link for Riga, and maybe one from Lithuania or somewhere else in Poland.
That's good. Well, I mean, it's been great talking to you, Maarten. It's great to hear about the ProMods team and how it's structured and what you guys are working on. I mean, obviously, people forget that it's just, it's real people behind all of this. People with real lives, and they do this as a hobby, and to build all these wonderful things that people drive through. I will, of course, leave links in the video description that you can give me. And if people just want to ask general questions, I'm sure they'll just leave some comments anyway, and you guys can, feel free to reply to them. But other than that, thanks very much for joining us for this interview, and I hope people enjoyed it.
And thank you for offering me this opportunity.